Hello? Hello? Am I here? Am I there? Am I there? No, wait, I need to change something. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay, how are we doing now? I think we're doing better. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Are you ready for this? I am absolutely not ready as usual, but I'm just gonna push through it. Alrighty. So, am I recording? Everything is working? Yes, all right. Good morning, Albert. I just wanted to congratulate you on your PhD presentation. Well, thank you. But that was, I think you might be talking about a post that I did on Instagram recently, because my PhD presentation was actually 2 years ago, and I only just posted an image of like, hey, that time I defended my dissertation, and I put a Bernie Sanders meme on it. So that was kind of the fun thing on it. But I appreciate, thank you. I'm actually really happy I defended my doctorate a while ago. Anil, Gabby, good morning. Good to see you here. Gabby's a student of mine here at Harvard. I wonder if she's connecting because she knows we're going to be doing Telegram bots and she wants to use that for her work in class. I don't know, but you're more than welcome to be here. Kiran, good to see you. Salvador, hola. How are you doing? Andres, Simon, Kiran. Good to see everyone here. So, I want to ask you something. For those of you who have been here before, I would like to ask you to give me some feedback to compare the quality of the video that you're seeing today, because I turn on a different option right now on the streaming. So right now I'm streaming with ultra low latency, which means that hopefully the time between I speak and you listen to me speaking is very, very short, so that we can have a bit more of real-time interaction, as opposed to when I say, hey, how are you doing? And it takes 15 seconds for that message to. So let's say, for example, let's do a test. If I say, hi, right now, can you respond right as you listen? So for example, I'm going to say, whenever I say thumbs up, can you just put a thumbs up emoji? Thumbs up. All right, so it looks like it's about 15 seconds. Well, it's not so much better. uh, that side. Oh, you guys know how to do emojis? Emojis, you type, how do you do emojis? So you type a colon, and then you type the name of the emoji that you're looking for example, thumbs up, and then it auto-completes. It gives you an autocomplete list. There you go. Okay. All right, good. So, okay, so let's try it out and see how does ultra low latency work on YouTube. That's great. So, a few reminders. It's been a while, so a few reminders. So if you're new to this channel, where am I? Oh, wait. Did I close? I did close the chat. Okay, that was not great. So, sorry, I lost you. Give me a second to bring you back. I have way too many screens. And okay, so this is going, yeah. You are here. Yes, I see you again. Wonderful. So, a few reminders for those of you who might be new to the channel, and it is, if you are interested in what you like here, and if you want to stay up to date with when We do live streams, we post new videos, etc. I have a lot of social media. We are pretty active on Instagram and Twitter in particular, so you can follow us there, and that will help you stay up to date to when we do these things. Also, if you hit subscribe on this channel and you click on the bell, you will get notifications on your phone when we go live or when we post new videos. So that will be helpful as well. And also, if you are a Google Calendar user, we have a Google Calendar, and I post there when do we go live, and I have a link somewhere. Do I have a link somewhere? Yes. So I have a link to the Google Calendar that you can subscribe to. I just posted it on the chat right now. I wonder, sometimes the YouTube chat doesn't allow links. So let me know if the link did not show up on the chat. And also we have a Discord channel. I think the Discord channel is pretty much the best place that you can go to stay up to date. If you're a Discord person, if you already use it, so if you have it on, it's a really good thing. I'm going to post link also to the Discord channel, to the Discord server on YouTube. So please let me know if those two links, the Google Calendar and the invite to the Discord channel, if they went through. Okay. So I just posted those there. And I can already see some people showing up on the Discord channel. That's actually great. Awesome. So, all right. And what are we doing today? So, if you've been following so first of all, if you've been following the channel, you will know that I had a bit of a hiatus in January and February because I was really busy preparing my classes and teaching, etc. But I'm back on track. So now what we're doing is I am recording some content that I'm hoping will be useful for the work that my students are doing in the class that I teach at Harvard this spring, which is called Enactive Design. It's a human-machine interaction class, etc. So we're talking a lot about how to make machines talk to each other, how to make them talk to humans, etc. And for that, I thought that a small series on machine communication, and in particular WebSockets technology, would be really good. So we did a lot of that last week, and today something that I would like to do is not exactly WebSockets, but it's also machine communication, and it's very useful, and it's very easy to do and very playful. So that's why today I would like to teach you how to create a Telegram bot and how to connect it to the work that we have done in the previous playlist. So it's going to be super fun. You're going to, if you follow this playlist or if you follow this YouTube tutorial, you will end up having a Telegram chat. So you will be able to talk to a robot, and you will be able to make the robot respond, etc. And if you start connecting that robot to other services, you could use it for very cool things, such as turning the lights on and off in your apartment, or sending emails. I don't know, but it's going to be super fun. And hopefully by the end of this, by the end of this playlist, I don't know if we will get there today, but like we could even connect the Telegram bot we could connect it to Grasshopper, and we could talk to Grasshopper from the Telegram bot. How cool would that be, huh? That would be really cool, actually. I wonder if we can do that. I don't think we can do that today, but that's definitely something that we could work towards in the next week, in the next live stream. Can somebody tell me, please, if the two links that I posted went through, the Google Calendar and the Discord invite to the server? If you can see those on the chat, please let me know on the chat. Yes, they did through. Okay. Alrighty, so shall we get started? Are we writing bots today? So my goal for today is to teach you how to write a Telegram bot, how to create the back-end service that you need to have that bot running. Hopefully we will put that on the cloud somewhere so that it can just live on its own. It doesn't need to live on your system. And I think it would be nice also to connect it to what we did last week. Remember that circle that was bouncing on the screen but was synchronized between different clients? So maybe we could connect this bot to that and use the bot to move the ball around in 3D space. That would be kind of cool, I think. So let's get started. I have a list of what I would like to cover here. Any questions today? So I think the way we're going to do this, where am I? Where are my notes? Did I lose my notes? Nah, I got them here. So the way we're going to do this is I have booked myself for 2 live streams today, in the morning and in the afternoon. But I would really wish to do this just in the morning and get it done so that I can, because I have some personal work. I actually have some development work that I want to do, which is like I basically need to modify a couple of open source Grasshopper plugins that are out there. I wonder if, I mean, that is basically me sitting down and like coding and trying to figure out and crack and modify a couple of things. I wonder if that's something that you would be interested to just sit down and watch me hacking on somebody else's Grasshopper plugin and modifying it. I don't know. Yes, Anil. Hopefully by doing this, we would be able to use Telegram and the bot that we write to modify geometry or to modify parameters, or basically like, you know, like sliders. Instead of changing things with sliders, we could change things by typing on Telegram like X coordinate and whatever value, you know? That would be really cool. That we can definitely do that. It should actually be fairly straightforward to do. But again, I don't think we can get there today because I will need to figure out how to connect Telegram with how can I Grasshopper with Telegram? I will explain. I will explain how to do that. How I think we could do that. That will definitely be something for next week. So where do we start? Should we start by the beginning? Oh, that's typically a good place to start. Am I forgetting something? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So I think the way we're going to do this is I'm going to start by explaining what is a Telegram bot, like the super fundamentals, and then we will create a Telegram bot for ourselves. And then once we have that, I can start explaining how to develop a backend that gives it some logic. Okay, so let's do that. Telegram bots, yes. All right. Let's do this. Okay, so please remind me, I didn't do this last time, please remind me to record an introduction video. Once we finish and the thing is working, remind me to record an introduction like, hey, this is what we're doing today, etc., for the videos that Arasto is very kindly helping me edit. So yes, we need to do that. All right, let's start by the beginning. So let's start by perhaps taking a look first conceptually at what a Telegram bot is. And first of all, let's even go back a little bit and let's talk about what Telegram is in the first place. Telegram is a messaging app that is designed for cell phones mostly. And if you're familiar with WhatsApp, Telegram is basically has a very similar functionality to WhatsApp. It's just instant messaging with all the other things that you may expect, like stickers, GIFs, exchanging audio, video, and all those kinds of things. I believe Telegram has gotten a lot of popularity very recently. I'm recording this at the beginning of 2021. I believe partially because of the data privacy policies that the owners of WhatsApp have been dealing with lately. So a lot of people are starting to use more and more Telegram as an alternative to WhatsApp. What's very interesting for us is that Telegram has this feature that, let me actually show you what Telegram looks like. So here on my phone, basically I have Telegram in dark mode, which is basically a chat with contacts and groups, etc., pretty much like WhatsApp or Line or all those other services. But something that is very interesting about Telegram is that it also has a web client. So you can go to web.telegram.org and you can see that I have like a bunch of contacts. I have a lot of bots that I've been experimenting with recently, some contacts, some groups, etc. But you can type and you can chat with people online as well as with your app. Okay, and this is great because a lot of what I'm going to be showing is going to be here with the web client, but everything that I'm going to be doing with the web client, you will be able to do exactly the same with your phone. Okay, now one of the features that is really interesting about Telegram, as opposed to WhatsApp, for example, which I don't think it has this feature as of this recording, is that Telegram allows you to program bots. And bots are basically services that you can program and that you can connect a backend to, so that users can request from the bots, can request things such as information about the weather. They can request things such as stickers, GIFs, that kind of stuff. They can play games with the bots. It's basically an automated service that you can program to interact with users. And it's very nice because it's very streamlined, as in the way you connect to bots is basically adding them as if they were some kind of new user, and then you can basically talk to them in real time. And the way we're going to do that, so what's interesting, Telegram bots have a lot of functionality. They can exchange audio, video, stickers, all that kind of stuff. You are the one everyone can create Telegram bots for free. It's very simple to do, and this is a lot of what we're going to do in this tutorial series today. And they also have some limitations. So for example, some limitations are that the advantages are that you can talk to them directly. The advantages are that you can add them to groups and they can listen to what's going on in the group and react and contribute to that conversation. And although some of the limitations are, for example, that bots cannot initiate a conversation with humans. It has to be the human who talks to the bot first, and then the bot can respond to human interaction. I guess this is a limitation that is embedded by design, just to avoid bots like spamming and annoying people. So, which is something that it's part of how bots work. And something that is also very interesting is that the way you create bots is by using a bot. Also, in the first place, a bot called the bot father, which is like the one to rule them all or something like that. So it's actually very interesting, and we're going to see how to do this in this series of tutorials. The most common way of interacting with a bot is by connecting to the robot as to the bot as if it was a user, and then talking to the bot with a series of / commands that you might be able to implement on your backend service. And so that's a little bit of what we're going to do today. And I guess before we do anything else, the next thing that we can do is let's take a look at how to actually create a Telegram bot. So let's take a look at how that works on the next video. All right, was that clear? I feel like I was a little bit all over the place. Okay. I need to go get some water. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, so shall we take a look at how to create a Telegram bot? Yes. So, okay. So the way we're going to do this is by connecting to the bot father and just following the instructions, basically. I mean, it doesn't have any more complexity, really. I wonder if I need to show the phone for some reason. I don't think so. Oh, Gabby, I just saw your post. Thank you. Okay, so let's. How are we going to do this? It's just. I mean, it's just going to be. And this, can I delete this? How can I delete this chat? This is something that I was trying just right before. Anyway, okay, so yes, you can. How can I, Said, from, but I want to delete it from, well, I guess I can use, I can use Telegram, probably. Yes, I can delete from the chat. So I just deleted it, and if I refresh this, okay, yes, it's gone. Thank you. That was very nice. Okay, so, all right. So how do I create a bot? Okay, let's take a look at how to create a simple Telegram bot in the first place. And then in the next few videos, we will see how to actually code the logic behind the bot. So the way this works as of right now, as of the recording of this video, is that in order to create a bot, you actually have to talk to a bot that already exists in Telegram that is called the bot father, the one to rule them all, okay? And the bot father is basically a bot whose function is to create bots, to manage bots, to delete bots, and to help you manage your bot life, if you will. So for this video, I'm going to assume that you already have Telegram installed on your phone, you do need to create an account with Telegram and have it on your phone at the very least, so that you can access the web app, the web application that we're going to be using, as well as to talk to the bot father and that kind of stuff. So the way I'm going to do this is, first of all, we need to connect to the bot father from our client application. You could do this from your phone, but everything that I'm going to do this in these videos is going to be using the web client that you can access by typing web.telegram.org and doing some synchronization with your phone, with the QR code, etc. It's very self-explanatory. You can figure it out. The way to connect to the bot father is by using a bot father link. You can see that as I hover here, then all the way down there in the corner, there's a T. You can copy the link location, and it says t.me/botfather. So that's the URL of the bot father, which if I type, takes me to this screen, which is, hey, do you want to talk to the bot father? Are you okay? Are you sure you want to do this, etc.? And I'm like, yes, sure. So I'm going to open on the web. And therefore, right now, I am just in a conversation with the bot father. Probably when you do this, this will be empty, but just because I've been talking to the bot father this morning, I already have some stuff. But basically, the bot father is an example of a bot that you can talk to. So for example, if I talk gibberish to the bot father is like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you please tell me something that makes sense? And typically, every bot that you talk to should have at least, by design, functions to helping functions that are called start and help. The typical way you talk to a bot is by using / like this, and then you can see that the bot is already giving me a list of suggestions of things that I can do with the bot. So for example, I can say start, and then the bot tells me, oh, this is all the stuff that you can do. And other bots have also the help instruction, which for the bot father is the exact same one. It doesn't really matter. So you can see that the bot father allows us to enter all of these commands, and the ones that we're going to be using are going to be new bots and my bots to manage them. So to create a new bot on our account is going to be super easy. The way we do that is by typing / new bot and telling the bot father that we want to create a new bot. The way we do that, then the bot father is going to start asking us for some information. All right, so how are we going to do this? I'm going to call this parametric camp test bot. So this is a literal name, okay? Now, once you do that, this is going to be like my full name, but then we also need to figure out a username. So that is going to be whatever shows up here on the top. The username, one of the rules on Telegram is that the username for a bot always have to end with the word bot. So I cannot just type Jose Luis. If I wanted to create a bot impersonating me, I would have to type Jose Luis bot at least, you know? So I guess something we can do is, for example, I'm going to type pcamp _test _bot, for example, okay? And as I do that, I'm going to send this to the bot father, and the bot father is going to tell me, okay, we're good, blah, 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 etc. And then it's going to give me this link here. This is the link that I can use to share, to connect to my test bot and to share it with other people. So if I send this link to other people will be able to open it and connect to the bot that I just created. The other thing that the bot father is going to give me is what's called the API token. The API token is, you can think of this as your password of sorts. It's not exactly like that, but you can think of it as the password that you as a developer and that you as the owner of the bot need to have in order to be able to connect to the service that runs all the bots on Telegram and authenticate yourself as saying, hey, I'm the owner of the pcamp test bot, so I am the one who should be in control of its behavior. I'm doing something that is really bad practice right now, which is showing this API publicly here on this video. I'm doing that because I will be deleting that API key or changing it after the recording of this video. It doesn't really matter, but API tokens, just like passwords, are very sensitive. So you should never share them with people. You should never version them on GitHub. You should never make them publicly accessible, because it doesn't matter that I was the one who created this bot on my account. If anyone picks up this API key and uses them, they will be able to connect to my bot, take control of it, and use it on my behalf. So always make sure that you keep this API key in a very safe place, that you don't share with everyone. And actually, we will see some techniques during these videos about how to conceal this API key from your code so that other people that are working with your code don't have access to that. We're going to be doing that using environment variables. Okay, so the test bot that we just created already exists. And now the only thing that we need to do is maybe we can start talking to that bot. Okay, so let me do that. I'm going to click here, and then Telegram is going to start talking to parametric camp testbot. So that is the full name, but the username is the one that we just did with underscores, right? And then here, I can start talking to the bot. So for example, hello bot, what's up? Gibberish, more gibberish. You can see that I am able to start a conversation with the test bot that I just created. However, this bot is not responding anything at all. It's not telling me anything, just because I still have not created or written any code that makes this bot be responsive. So I think that is probably what we're going to do in the next videos. In the next videos, we're going to write a backend that we're going to connect to this Telegram bot, and that we're going to use to program the behavior and the responsiveness that this bot is going to have to user interaction. Let's take a look at how to do that in the next video. Alrighty. So, what am I going to need for the next video? We're going to talk about backend services. So I think what I would need to do first is say that basically we can program this on any programming language that we want. Do I want to get into the weeds of like, there's a standard API, but we're just going to use libraries? Do I want to do that? The bot API. Well, maybe we can do that. But maybe I can just basically walk through like, hey, there's an API, but it's kind of technically, it's not an easy thing to do. So what we do is typically we just use libraries, and you know me already. So there's a Python library, but obviously I'm probably not going to use that because I'm more of a Node person myself, but let's not get into that again. So I can get into that, and we can just write, create, what would this video be called? Writing a Telegram bot, echo. We can do an echo bot, so a bot that responds with the same message. What can we do? And is it going to be the whole? Is it going to be? Well, it doesn't have to be echo. We can just implement more functionality. So I think the video is just going to be called writing a simple Telegram bot in Node.js, I think, because we could write it in PHP, we could write it in Python, whatever, but I've been doing Node in the, it doesn't matter. we're going to use Node. And okay, so how are we going to do that? I'm going to need to open here on my. I'm going to create a pcamp test bot, and then I'm going to open it, and it's going to be here. Pcamp test bot, and then I'm going to open here a terminal, and I'm going to have my terminal, but if people don't know how to do that, then we can just type in etc. etc. Okay. All right. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Yes, I think I'm going to this video is going to be chunks, because if I say the whole thing at once, I get that. Yes. Okay, let's do this. Hi, and welcome to this new video where I'm going to out. No. I don't want to start like that. Out. Okay, welcome to this video where I'm going to teach you the basics of writing the backend of a Telegram bot that we can connect to a bot service on Telegram, and then we can drive the logic and the reactivity of this bot. Okay. The way that works with Telegram is that Telegram has an open API, an application programming interface for developers to connect to the services that run the Telegram bots on the Telegram servers, and then be able to connect to the bot itself and write the code that will drive its behavior. Okay. If you're interested in how that actually works, and if you are perhaps a bit more technically proficient, you can read how the actual underlying implementation of the Telegram API works, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do here. However, in my opinion, for entry-level people, it's a little advanced. So typically what we do when we want to write code for bots is using code examples or using libraries that other people have already developed to wrap up the connectivity to those APIs that I just mentioned. So long story short, there is the core API for connecting to Telegram bots, and there's libraries that make connecting to that API much easier, which is what we're going to do in this tutorial. Okay, since I'm going to be writing this tutorial in Node.js, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the Node.js version, and you can see that there are actually several versions of Node.js libraries that you can use to connect to the Telegram bot. I think my favorite so far is the Node Telegram bot API, so this one here, and I think that's the one that I'm going to be using for these examples. However, this is my particular choice because I have some strange affinity for Node.js and JavaScript, but very likely, as you may know, Python is a very popular programming language as well. So there are also a lot of Python libraries that help you make this easy. And also, I just recently ran into the Telegram bot for C#, which in this channel we are also kind of excited about. So perhaps in some future videos I can write something in C# that we can use to connect Unity or to connect Grasshopper to a Telegram bot, and perhaps use the Telegram bot to connect to control geometry in Grasshopper or to control motion in Unity. I'm actually kind of excited, so I think we're going to do this in further videos down the road. But for this immediate series, we're going to be using Node.js, and we're going to be using the Telegram bot API that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to be following this example, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do this. So let's get started by creating a Node.js project and implementing a simple version of a Telegram backend, which will be starting with an echo server, for example. Let's take a look at that. Salvador, is that 100%, is that 100 for, that's for Python, right? You're a Python person, I know it. I can see it with the corner of my eye here. You're looking at the Python library. Okay. um, all right. The first thing that I'm going to do is I just came here to my desktop. I created a folder called pcamp testbot, and if I double click on the folder, we can see that it's empty. It doesn't have anything. You have seen in my previous videos on this playlist how to initialize a Node.js project. So we're going to follow those instructions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a terminal here on my folder. And this is going to look something like this. But if you don't know how to do that, or if you don't have on your shell, you don't have it programmed so that you can right click and open a terminal, you're just welcome to click here and then type, for example, Powershell, which is the shell that I like these days for Windows a lot. And then you can copy the address here, where this is, and type cd and paste this, and then you will be now on the folder that we are going to initialize this Node.js project on. So once we're here, as you saw in the previous videos, what we can do is I can type here npm initialize init, and then I can go through the instructions. So yeah, the package name is going to be testbot version 1, whatever. Entry point is going to be, yeah, index.js is a good file. Let me call it bot.js actually, because it feels like it's nicer. I'm then just going to say yes to everything, and you can see that the package file shows up here. So I'm going to open my Visual Studio Code editor, and I'm going to drop that file in there. So I'm just going to drop this file here, and we can see that we have the basic structure, the basic package for this project. So we're good there. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is remember that we were going to be using the Node Telegram bot API. This is a module, it's a package, it's a library that has all the functionality to make it very easy to connect to this bot. The way we install this in our project is like we have seen before in previous videos, using the package manager and then installing the library. So I'm just going to dock this here and type on my terminal, I'm going to type npm install for I and then node telegram bot.api. As I do that, the package manager is going to go online, it's going to fetch some data, blah, 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 it's going to download it. And you can see that now I have this new folder called node modules that have a lot of the packages and the dependencies that this module needs in order to run. Okay, so that's great. And then I guess the next thing that we need is to create the actual file where we're going to write the code for this bot, for the logic of this bot. So what I'm going to do is we could just do this directly from code, but since we're trying to be a little hacky, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type code on my terminal, and I'm going to write bot.js, and what that will do is that it will open Visual Studio Code. On this folder, it will create an empty bot.js file, which if I save now, you can see that got saved directly here on my project folder. So that's great. And that also means that I'm ready here now to start writing code for my, I have the project ready to start writing the code for the logic that is going to drive my server, the back-end service that is going to drive the behavior of my bot. All right. What is the next thing we're going to do? Okay. I may want to stop this and just open a terminal here and use the terminal here. We could probably just do that. It will make things easier. All right. So let's write some code. What I'm going to do, just for the sake of making things easier and have less windows on my screen, I'm going to close the terminal that I used to initialize my project, etc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a terminal that is going to be embedded in Visual Studio Code. That will make things a bit easier and less need for changing between screens. So if I go here to terminal and I start a new terminal, you can see that here, right on my back, I will be open up this terminal that is embedded in Visual Studio, and that right now is in some random folder. So what I can do is I can go to my project folder by copying the route here and saying cd and then going into that route. And you can see that if I ls here, I can see the contents of my project. This will be great because now I can type here node blah 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 and start the project from there. I think maybe where I am is not great for this. So maybe the two windows, actually, well, let's try to work with this for the time being. So, okay, so what is the first thing we're going to do? So we have here our bot, and the first thing that we're going to do is, well, we're going to use some of the sampled code that comes here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a variable called the Telegram bot, which we're going to use to load that library that we just installed in our project. So Telegram bot is going to be now a variable that holds all the power of the library that we just created. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create another variable called the token. And here we're going to paste that token variable that we got from the bot father. That one that I told you it's secret and that you should never share and that should not be openly available on your code. So we will see how to do that, how to work properly with that variable. So don't worry too much about that right now. We will fix that later on. And then once we have that, then the next thing that we need to do is we need to actually connect this code to the server. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create another variable, which is going to be an instance of the bot. And that's what we're going to be using to interface with the bot. And then we're going to write a new Telegram bot. We're going to use the token to connect. And then we're going to input these options as a JSON object, which is going to be that we want to be polling this robot. Polling means that we're going to be using HTTP, but we're going to be every so often requesting back and forth information so that we kind of maintain a live connection with the HTTP server that is running on the background, sort of. Okay. All right. So the basics of our robot, our bot backend are here. So I'm going to go to the terminal and I'm going to type cls. I'm going to clear the screen and I'm going to type node bot.js. Can you see this? I cannot make this bigger. bot.js. And as I do that, you're going to see that blah, 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 this is connected, etc., etc. So let's see if this is working. I'm going to go to my test bot and type blah, 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 blah. And nothing really happens. Why is nothing happening? Well, we actually have code that works and that is connected to the backend service, etc. Yet we haven't really written any logic whatsoever. So I guess the first thing that we need to do is we need to write some code to manage the logic between the conversation of the user and the conversation of the robot. That logic is going to be driven by events, pretty much in the same line as we saw in previous videos. So the way we do that is by defining for what type of events that we receive from the bot, how do we respond to different types of events. So how does that work? Well, for example, the simplest type of event is, so we define events by saying bot on, and then what type of event we're going to be responding. So for example, anytime we receive, there's an event called message, which gets triggered every single time we receive any message from any client. And so what we can do is we can write a rule to make sure that whenever we receive any message, then we do something about it. So the way we do that is we attach a behavior to this event, so the event message. And then attaching the behavior means passing a callback function that will be run whenever a message is received. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to define an inline function on the fly. This function I know, because of the helper text, that is going to be given some information. It's going to be given the actual message that was triggered. And then I'm going to open and close curly brackets. And then here I will have the possibility of writing code that responds to that. So for example, let's say we're going to start by making an acknowledgement. So whenever I receive any message, I'm going to write here on my server. So right here, I'm going to write received a message. Okay. So super simple. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my servers right now by pressing Ctrl+C. And then I'm just going to launch it again, node.bot.js. By doing that, I am connecting to the service again. And now I can go back to my bot chat and type a new message. And you can see that now I am detecting that I got a message from somewhere. So this, or this, or this, any single time I receive any kind of message from any user, I will be printing here on the terminal an acknowledgement of, yeah, I got something from someone. All right. But obviously, this is just not great. So, so probably what I want to do is I want to maybe read what the message was and then perhaps respond to that message as well. I know how to respond to the message, but I'm not exactly sure how to get the raw message with this type of, so I'm going to try that out before message dot, what do we have on the message? So let's bring the message itself, the object, and see what it looks like. It's going to be something, it's going to be a lot of stuff, for example, probably. Okay, so actually this is very nice. So we can see that the message has all this information and it has a field called text. And it has information about the user as well. So actually that is pretty interesting. Let's do this as part of the video. So I'm going to stop this server. Before we go any further, let's actually take a look at what is being given to this function as information so that we can know what are we working with. So whenever I receive the message, I'm going to print an acknowledgement here to the terminal, but I'm also going to print a full breakdown of the message object that has been given to this function, right? And so I'm going to run my server again. I'm going to run my client again, and then I'm going to type here some stuff. Hello world. And then I'm going to type that in. And you can see if I move around, okay, this is not working anymore. I'm just going to open a real terminal. So I'm just going to open a real terminal here so that you can see better what is going on. So, all right. So here I'm going to type node bot.js, and then I'm going to type this same message again. Hello world. What am I doing? Hello world. And then here we're going to see that the message object, which is a JSON object, contains all of this information. It contains an ID. It contains information of who sent it. So for example, it has my username, which is what I use on Telegram. It has information of whether if I am a bot or not. It has information about the chat room. So chat rooms have IDs, because remember, a bot can be talking to multiple people at the same time. It's not all about you. Bots are very promiscuous, if you will. And then it has information about me, it has the date as in the form of a timestamp, and it has a property called text, which is what has been passed here. So that's very interesting. I think we can use this as a way of responding to the robot. So for example, let's say that we want to write something that says, I received your message with the name. So for example, let's say I'm going to use hi, and then I'm going to type here the name of the user, hi message dot from dot first name. So, and then I'm going to write here, I received your message, and then I'm going to write here the message that was sent, which is message.text. Okay. So I'm going to write this here to the terminal. So, so here I'm going to run the bot again. And as I run the bot again, now I'm going to go here and say, hello again. And you can see that I am printing to the console on my server, hi Jose Luis, I received your message, hello again. So this is starting to become good. Oh, sorry, my head is on the way. So, hi Jose Luis, I received your message, hello again. You can see that here. But of course, what I don't want is this message to be printed on some obscure server. I want to send this back to whoever sent this as a response. So the way we're going to do that is here you can see that bot has an option called send message that needs the ID of the chat, which we can find here from chat.id and the message. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the server. I am going to be a bit more programmatic here, and I'm going to create a new variable called response, and then I'm going to type here the text that we want to send as a response. All right. And now what I can say is I'm going to write here bot.sendMessage, and you can see that as I autocomplete already gives me a lot of different options. Send audio, send contact, send game, send location. There's a lot of stuff that I can do with these APIs. So I'm just going to go for the simple send message. And then you see that it's asking me for the chat ID, which I can get from message.chat.id. All right. And then the response that I want to send, which I already created before as a variable here. So I can type here, just send this response that I created. All right. Are we ready for this? It's about to work. So, for example, let's run the server again, node.bot.js. And then now let's go to the bot and say final test. And then as I do that, boom! Finally, the bot now responded. You can see we got an acknowledgement here, received the message, and here the bot is responding to me. Hi, Jose Luis, I received your message, final test. Woohoo! So we have a robot that now, we have a bot that can now respond to messages in a very basic way. Okay? All right, so this is working great. However, this is not very much in line with the general spirit of Telegram bots, which, as you saw before, are typically controlled or are typically interfaced with this language of using a / and using the command that you want to send the robot, the bot, to do something. Additionally, something that is not working great is that we are using the field message.text. But if the user, for some reason, had sent something that is not text, so audio, video, whatever, blah, blah, we may not get this message field. So I'm going to show you how to actually control much better whether if we are responding to text or other content, and then how to respond to different commands like hello, greet, echo, etc., etc. So let's take a look at implementing custom commands in your Telegram bot. All right, and I think I'm going to... How are we doing? Are you liking this? We just wrote a bot that we can chat to. How cool is that, huh? Woohoo! All right. So, what is next? Yes. Now, we're going to be using, what are we going to be using? We're going to be, let me add some comments here. Create. Okay, so I think we're good there. What is the next thing we're going to do? We are going to, custom commands. I can probably just clean this up a little bit. As I said in my previous videos, the typical way Telegram invites people to design their bots is by creating this kind of commands that have that start with a / and then they have a word that defines what is the action that you want to ask the bot to do, and then followed by whatever information you need. Okay. So we're going to implement a few of those custom commands, and the way we're going to do this is by using the idiom or the pattern that the application, that the library that we're using, the Node Telegram bot API, invites us to do. You can see here that just as I defined what I wanted to do whenever the bot received a message. So on receiving this message, please do this stuff. Whenever you receive any message, please do all this stuff here. Similarly, this API has another event handler called onText, which is specifically if the incoming data is text. And now here, when we define what is going to come, instead of defining a string called message, as in whatever you give me, just work with that, what we have to define is a regular expression. Regular expressions are a way of defining a pattern that you're looking for when you want to analyze a string, and then also a way to define some information that you want to extract when you are also analyzing a string. Full disclaimer, regular expressions can be a little tricky to start with because the syntax of how they are defined can be a little convoluted, but they're actually very, very powerful. And one tool that I can recommend for regular expressions is this one here, regex101.com. This one is really, really good for testing, and it has all this helper text here that allows you to figure out how to create regular expressions and what each part of the regular expression means, etc., and to test them out here. And with different flavors of regular expressions. It's really, really good. I strongly recommend it. So the way we're going to do that is any regular expression is written between 2 forward slashes. Okay? And then I'm going to get back to that. And then, for example, let's say that we wanted to match exactly the word echo, for example. So what we would do is we would write echo here, and then in between the 2 forward slashes, this is specific to JavaScript, okay? And I will get to improving this a little better before. And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the function, the callback function that we need to write, and that is going to be executed whenever this event is triggered. Now, I also know that this function, because of the helper text and because of the documentation that I've read, this callback function is given 2 arguments. One is going to be given the full message that has been received by the bot, and also the second one is going to be the matching for the regular expression. I will explain what that means in a second. So for the time being, I'm just going to write here the names of the 2 inputs that we're going to be taking, okay? And then to see if this works, I'm just going to write here received an echo request, for example, all right? And I'm going to deactivate this response to any general message for the time being so that we don't get confused. Wonderful. So I'm going to stop my server that was running in the background. I'm going to restart it again, okay? And then you can see that now my bot should not respond to any message whatsoever. So for example, if I type here, blah, 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 it's not really doing anything. But however, if I write echo, you can see that it picked up with this regular expression the exact match of the word echo, and therefore printed something here to the console. We could, like I did before, we could say, we could create a response, received a request for echo, for example. And then we could respond to the user bot, send message, message.chat.id, and then this response message that I just created. If I restart my server now, you can see that I can now write echo, and the bot is going to respond, yes, I know, I received a request for echo. Okay? But we need to improve this a little bit. First of all, what I would like to do is I would like to type echo like this so that I stick to the conventions of Telegram bots and the /. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that I would like for the bot to echo whatever is after the echo. So for example, if I type hello world, what I would like for the bot is to respond to me back, hey, I want you to respond to me, hello world. Okay? So let's do that then. So the way we're going to do that is, first of all, I need to add the /. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tap another /, but that doesn't work because // are a very special character in strings. So we need to actually escape that / by using a \. Yes, don't get me started on this. I'm not sure who designed this, but yes. So basically, backslashes are a special character to denote that the next character should be treated specially. And therefore, the way you specified in a string that you do want a / and not to be confused with the ones that are used in regular expressions is by escaping it with a \. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I want to be able to read whatever is coming after the / echo part. The way we do that typically is by what's called matching a string with the regular expression. The regular expressions are good for detecting when things match similarly, but they're also really good at picking up particular parts of a string that also match a different pattern. So in this particular case, what I want is, I want the regular expression to detect if at the beginning of the sentence there is a / with an echo. And if that's true, then I want to fetch out everything that is coming after the white space of that echo. The way I can do that is by typing here, as you can see in the example, typing a matching pattern, a matching group, which we do with an open and closed parenthesis. That denotes that that's a matching group. And what I'm doing, and inside, I want to write the pattern that defines what do I want to pick up. And because I basically want to pick up anything that is after the / echo, what I do is I type dot, which is the character in regular expression that denotes just take everything, all right? And I'm going to write plus, which is the character that we use to modify the dot, which means don't pick up just one character of any kind. Pick up as many characters as you can of any kind. This is something that we could also read here from the, oops, sorry, I'm right on top of it, that we could read something here from the expression. So for example, you can see here that the dot, you cannot see it because my head is right on the way. You can see here that the dot, god damn it, you can see here that the dot is any single character, and you see the dot here, all right? And then if I find the modifiers, what are the modifiers? Yes, one or more of a. So if you add the plus symbol, you get one or more of whatever you added that plus symbol to. So, long story short, if we type dot plus, you're basically saying, I want to pick every single character of any kind. It doesn't have to be constrained to letters or numbers. And I want to fetch with the plus sign as many of those as possible. So if I do that, then what's interesting is that the matching variable in the callback is going to contain all the matching strings that are going to come back from the regular expression, the evaluation of the regular expression. So for example, just to take a good look at what that looks like, let me print out to the console the full matching object so that we can see how that looks. So I'm going to stop the server, Control-C. I'm going to clear up the screen. I'm going to restart it with the new changes that I did. And I'm going to type the same thing, echo, and for example, regular expression test. As I do that, you can see that the match, so what the evaluation of the regular expression gives me is an array with a lot of stuff. The first element being the full message of the regular expression, and the second element being the matching group that I have created. So that basically that tailing part right after the echo. So the result of this matching pattern here, which means that if I just want to read that, what I need to do is I need to take the second element of that array. Okay, so for example, what can we do? I can create another variable which is going to be called in the data. For example, the data that is coming with the echo instruction, and I can say this has to be equal to the second element of the array in the match object. And then what I can do is, instead of responding with this thing, what I can do is I can respond exactly with that information, with what was given as part of the echo. So let me restart this. Let me restart the bot again. And now finally, I think this is now going to work. Echo. And then I'm going to say, hello world. And then the bot is responding exactly with hello world. Echo parametric camp rules. And then yoo-hoo, parametric camp rules. Echo, oops, sorry. Echo, this is fun. And then the bot responds exactly with that same message. This is fun. All right. Wonderful. So it looks like we were able now to create an echo command, so that the robot can now respond to an echo command and then just respond exactly with that same message. Let's take a look at another very simple example of another command that we could implement. Alrighty, let's take a look now. What are we going to do? We're going to create a greet command that says hi to some particular name. Let's do that. Okay, so for example, let's create now a greet command, so that whenever we pass a name, the bot responds with, hey, name, how are you doing? Blah, 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 something like that. Also a very simple string manipulation exercise. So for example, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create bot on whenever I receive text, and then whenever that text starts with the word greet, so I'm going to create my regular expression. I'm going to escape a // and then I'm going to write here greet, and then I'm going to add the matching pattern to capture any single characters that come afterwards. And then now I'm going to write my callback, which is going to be message, which is going to be given 2 arguments, message and the matching pattern. And then what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create a response, which is going to be, for example, hello, and then the name of that has been passed to, which is, remember, the second element of the matching pattern. Hello, match. How are you doing? How are you doing? And then we're going to send that back to the user. Message.chat.id, and then the response that we just created. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to stop the server. I'm going to run it again. And then I'm going to say, greet Jose Luis. And then, hello, Jose Luis, how are you doing? Greet Salvador. Oops, sorry for the typo. Greet Gabby. How are you doing? You see? And now the bot is able to respond dynamically. We could also implement like 2 or 3 different sentences. So for example, hi, what's up? Or hello, how are you doing? Or yo, 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 whatever, you know? And then randomly choose between them whenever we respond to this greeting message. Also, don't forget that we have both behaviors attached, which means that I still have the echo behavior. So I can still boo, you know, I can still use the the greeting functionality. So we can add as many of these as we want, and they're not conflicting with each other, right? Even though right now, if the robot doesn't understand whatever I say, then it's just not going to respond to any of this. All right. Okay. This is great. I think this is a good start for creating the backend service that that makes a bot work. However, the problem with this is that right now what we're doing is we are creating that service, the service that runs the logic, so the back end of the bot is a program that is living on my machine, on my local machine right now, which means that if I stop that program on my machine, or if I turn off my computer or whatever, then the robot is basically the robot is basically done. Are you there? You see, I asked for that echo, but then the bot is not responsive. It's not responsive because I turned off the backend service that runs this bot. What that means is that this technique that we have used right now is great for testing. So the idea of having a local backend service, but if you want this bot to live forever, to live online and for a lot of users to be able to use it, then hosting it on your local machine could be a possibility, but you would have to have that machine always running and connected to the server. You could put it in a Raspberry Pi, which is a very cheap and very simple thing. And for example, that could be a one way to go. Or you can just put this service, the backend, and make it live somewhere on the cloud, like for example, glitch.com, which is the service that we saw before in previous videos. So in the next video, what I'm going to teach you is how to take this backend service and move it to the cloud so that it is permanent, or that it's living forever, and then everyone can use it and everyone can interact with your robot at any time of the day without you having to have this local machine running. So let's take a look at how that works. Yoo-hoo! How are we doing? I need to take a bio break. I will be right back. Can you give me some feedback? Is this good? Not? Are you understanding? Is it difficult? Is it cool? Do you want to learn more things that we can do with Telegram bots? Just put it in the chat. I'll be right back. Yoo-hoo! There is some digestion necessary here. All right, you can take your time. Okay, cool. Oh, Kieran, you're following along. Is it working for you? What is your bot? Can you share the link to the bot? Can you tell me the bot so that I can try to find it here and see if it's. Let's give it a try. See if I can connect to your bot right now. Just give me the name of the username of the bot. So we have this regular expression. We don't need them. Alrighty. Well, that's a very long name. So can I search for testbot? Oh, Kieran Golan. Oh my God. I am connected to Kieran's bot. So let's see. Echo. This is Kieran. This is Kieran. I think you turn off your server, right? Your backend. Oh yeah, no, it's working. Ooh, great. Great, Kieran. This is great. Good job, Kieran. It's working for you. This, you see, this is the really cool stuff with WebSockets and with online communication. I'm literally right now tapping into Kieran's fresh new Telegram bot. How cool is that, huh? I wish we had a way like we could all connect with bots and write code together, and that would be really, really cool. Good job, Kieran. Anybody else has a bot that I can connect to? All right. All right, cool. What is next? So, okay, so we're gonna put this on glitch. And we're going to, oops. I'm going to put this here. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this up on glitch. Okay. And then we're going to I'm going to show you how to remove this and have an environment variable, which is okay. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to go to glitch. I'm going to create a new project. It's going to be a Node Express thing, but I'm going to just kill it and upload my files. And then we will have the problem of the start script, which we will have to just manually write, which is fine. And then once that is running, we will use it. We will test it, and once it's working, then I will record the video where I explain what are environment variables, and then we do the environment variable change. Okay, so okay, so let's do that. So, okay, my test bot is also dead. So I guess I'm going to go to glitch.com and log in. I was in GitHub, right? Yeah. Okay. And where should I start? Okay, let's do this. Wonderful. In my previous video, I taught you how to create a local backend service that connects to the Telegram API and drives the behavior of your robot. In this video, what I would like to teach you is how to move this backend to someone that is living on the cloud so that the backend can be active permanently and therefore doesn't require that your machine, your physical computer, is connected to the internet 24/7 running this service. Okay? The way we're going to do that is, first of all, as a reminder, I have my project here on a local folder on my machine. It's on my desktop right now, and it's called blah, blah, blah. It's a Node.js server. And you can see that the main files are going to be the package.json file, which is what defines the dependencies and what this program needs in order to run correctly. And the other one is the bot.js, which is the actual JavaScript code that runs the Node.js server that is running this backend service. So everything else, package lock and the node modules, are the actual dependencies that I will need for the actual files that run the dependencies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the cloud, and I'm going to be using glitch.com, which if you have seen my previous videos, is an online service that is really good for running Node.js projects living on the cloud. And it's also a collaborative coding environment, so you can type code together as if it was Google Docs, and it's also free. So it's one of my favorite projects these days. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new glitch project, and you can see my previous videos on how to create those projects, etc. And then we're going to create a new project, and we're going to override, just delete everything that is in that project and override it with the information that the files that we just created. So I'm going to go here, create a new project. I'm going to go for the Hello Express template, which is the one that runs a Node.js server on the backend. So it's creating the project, and the project is I'm going to call this Telegram bot, for example, pcamp Telegram bot. Okay, and as I name that, I mean, this doesn't really matter in this case. As I name that, oh, why do I have I like the dark. Well, I don't know where that went, but I like the dark theme better. Anyway, so you can see that as I start the project, I have a bunch of things. For example, I have backend package.json, I have a README file, I have the server.js, which is all this template data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove everything. So I'm going to remove all the files, and I'm going to upload my own files, the ones that I just created. So package, I'm going to remove package.json. Actually, I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to rename it because I will need to take a look at a few things. Especially, I'm going to be needing to use the scripts property for the reasons that I will explain. So I'm going to package.old. So this is not, I'm not going to delete it, but I'm not going to use it either. And then these two folders, public and views, which I'm also going to delete because I don't need them for my project. Once I have this, then I can upload to my project the two files that I actually need, which is the my package.json file and my bot.js file. Those are the two important files. Node modules and the package log, I don't need those because those will be downloaded and installed by the packet manager that is running on this server. So I don't need to do npm install myself at all. And if I go to tools now and I go to logs, you can see that this is not really working. So let me clear this. You can see that this is automatically trying to install all the dependencies. So it's installing Node, it's installing npm as a packet manager, etc. It's giving me some warnings about deprecations and things that are not supported. And let's see if this actually works. So I'm going to put this here on the side, and I'm going to put my bot here on the other side. And you can see that everything got installed, etc. But I get an error message here. It says that check blah blah blah, command not found, etc. And if I type here blah blah blah, you can see, well, sorry, echo blah blah blah. You can see that the bot is not responding. The server is not responding, and I'm getting all these error messages here. The error is that it's saying that my code is missing a start script. What does that mean? What it means is that because I have installed a server using my package.json file, I am trying to use an automatic service to start my server. But the problem is that I know that I only have my bot.js file, which is the one that has the main code. But the computer in the cloud that is trying to run my server doesn't really know which one is the file that has the main code. Because I could have just one JS file or I could have 1,000. So how would the computer know which one is the one to use to start? The typical way we handle that is with start scripts, which is a way of defining in your package file, which is the one file that should be executed to start my server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy two things. First, I'm going to specify that the engine that I want to use is going to be Node version 12. So I'm going to add a comma here to dependencies, and I'm going to say engines. I want to install Node 12. I actually would like to install Node 14. Let's see if that works. Okay, that's one thing. And the other thing is that I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go to scripts, and I'm going to copy and paste this here. And I'm going to say the starting script, the one that I want Glitch to pick up to start my server, is going to be, remember when I was typing on my terminal node bot.js? So I need to do the same thing here. I need to write node, and instead of server, I want you to execute bot.js, and I'm going to remove this comma here. And as I do that, now my package.json file is done. You can see that it's, because of my changes, now it is installing Node 14.15, which is the same one that I have on my computer here locally. It is installing it, and it's also going to install the dependencies, not the Node Telegram bot API. And let's give it a few seconds so that it installs everything. This is all happening automatically because glitch.com, whenever it detects changes on my files, it tries to reconnect and it tries to restart the full server, as opposed to what I was doing manually, which was I was stopping the server and restarting it. So Glitch does that automatically for me. So you can see that this is going down, blah, blah, blah. So I'm installing, etc. And you see I received an echo request, which means that all this stuff that I wrote before has now been picked up. It was on the backlog, if you will, so it seems like it's working now. So let's see. Echo, are you here now? And then my bot is responding right now. So let me greet Jose Luis. And then my bot is responding, hey, Jose Luis, how are you doing? And so it's working. It's great. So what we were just able to do is to upload our code to an online service, so glitch.com in this case, and have the back end that we wrote locally be running somewhere on the cloud. So what's nice about this is that I am not running any process on my machine. I could turn off my computer now, and this service, this bot that I just wrote here, will still be working because it's running on a server that is running somewhere on the cloud. So that's great. So now that I have copied the right code, I can delete this file here, the old package file. I don't need it anymore. A few words of warning. Glitch is a great service, but the free version of Glitch is actually quite limited in that it allows you to run processes online, but it puts them to sleep. What that means is that if there is more than, I think, 5 minutes of inactivity, glitch.com will automatically shut down this service and will turn it off to save energy and to save resources, etc., etc. So if you actually want to have this thing really, really living 24/7 and responding to requests, then I think you have to pay some premium, some like $10 a month or something, so that it doesn't put your processes to sleep. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Or you can use other services, or you can write this on a Raspberry Pi and have it running on your house if you want. You will be paying for the electricity for that anyway. The other thing that is terrible of this code that I just have here is that, remember what I said before about private tokens? Literally, on my code, I hard-coded the password, the token that I need for controlling my Telegram bot. And as I said before, this token is like your password, so anyone that has this token might be able to connect to my Telegram bot and change the behavior, impersonate me, etc., etc. Because this is hard-coded here in my code, anyone who sees my code could see this Telegram bot API, which means that because glitch.com is public and is always open source, I have a problem with privacy here. So how could I still access this information without having it visible in my code? How could I access the information so that it's private to me, the owner of this project, but still I can share this code and I can show it to other people without disclosing my privacy token? Typically, the way that is handled is by using environment variables. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to a new video where I'm going to explain what environment variables are conceptually. And then in the next one, I will explain how to implement those here, particularly with glitch.com. So let's take a look at what environment variables are. Hey, Victor, Google Apps scripts. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't really used Google App scripts for running Node.js processes. So I would take a look at that, but I haven't really done that yet. And let and var are two ways of defining variables in JavaScript. Var is the old way, and let is the more modern JavaScript version of doing that. They're very, very similar. If you're really concerned about that, I would suggest you use let because it's more modern and it has better scoping properties. Var had a few problems with scoping and who had access to these variables, etc., etc. So it's a little difficult to explain. The recommendation is just if you can use modern JavaScript, then just stick to let. It's a little better. But we can explain that at some point in some other video. Now, where was I? Oh, environment variables. So what are those? Let me move things away from the screen because this video is probably going to be its own thing. And I'm going to open environment variables. Is this any... let me actually try something. Echo path. Powershell echo environment variable. How to bring environment to the console? I see. So this would be environment path. I see. Interesting. And I do have cpath as well, right? Yes. And I do have libraries. Yes. So this works. So perhaps I can define for Windows how to print environment variables. And but this is all terrible. This is not terrible. There's this diagram that I could use. Okay, I think this could be interesting as a way of starting. And And for example, so JavaScript, okay, let password. For example, okay, okay, this could work as an example. And then I would like to use and then okay. All right, environment variables. Let's do this. Hi, and welcome to this video where I'm going to explain what environment variables are, why they're interesting, why they're important, and how you should be able to manage them. And I'm going to show a couple examples of how that is handled, for example, in Windows systems. Okay, so first of all, I would like to point to this article that I just found Googling a little bit, which I think is really good at explaining the overall idea of what an environment variable is. So I'm going to post a link to this article on the comments on this video. Environment variables are basically a way of defining values or defining variables that are going to be living not exactly within the programs that you're writing, but are going to be living within the environment, or if you will, the machine that is going to be running those programs. But why would we want to do this in the first place? Why have variables live in different places? Well, very typically, for example, you will run into situations where you may have a program such as this one. This program is this program is not real, it's not working, but basically what I'm doing with this program, imagine that it's a program that needs to connect to some kind of service that needs some kind of authentication, like a login. And then in order to connect to that service with a particular function, again, this is not real code, this is just a mock-up, I may need to have, for example, authentication with a username and with a password. In order to do that, I could have two variables on my program containing the value of the username and the password. But you can probably see where the problem here may lay. If I am writing code that must be shared by a team of people, for example, we may not feel comfortable with sharing publicly and openly the password in a text file in code that can be read by anyone in the world, because that could lead to a lot of security breaches and problems. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that imagine that we are, for example, versioning this code, and this code is going to be shared on GitHub, for example. If the project is open source, turns out that everyone who accesses that GitHub repo may have access to seeing your code to seeing your password on your code, which is a really, really bad practice. So environment variables started as a way of trying to help with this problem. The problem being being able to access information in written code in software programs, information that should be private and should be hidden from people who may have access to that code. So the way to do this is the way environment variables solve this problem is that what they do is they give programs the capacity to read values that are not stored in the actual program itself, but they are stored somewhere in the system or in the machine that is running this particular code. So how does that work? So let me say, for example, that I wanted to store my password instead of in this machine, instead of in this code, I wanted to install it in this machine that I am running right now. And imagine that this was a cloud server or it was my local development environment. It doesn't really matter. So the way to do that is that every system, and this is different depending on which system you're living in. So Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and different cloud services have different ways of handling their environment variables. So I'm going to show how this works, for example, for Windows systems. In Windows systems, you can define global environment variables that are accessible by anyone who lives in your by any program that lives in your machine. The way I do that is I'm going to open my Windows Explorer. I'm going to right click on my PC and I'm going to go to Properties. This is going to open and it's going to give you some information about your system, etc. But if I go to Advanced System Settings, you can see that in System Properties, I have this button here called Environment Variables. And if I click here, you can see that I have two sets of environment variables. One that is for everyone that lives on my computer. So any user that logs into my computer will have access to these variables here. And another set that is specifically for my user. So different users who may access my computer may have different environment variables. What that means is that these variables, which are defined by the name and which are defined by the whatever they contain, those are going to be available for anyone in my system who may want to use them. So let me show you an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a terminal on my desktop. You can see it doesn't really matter where you open it. And I'm going to use this terminal here. I'm going to or you can actually, easier than this, you can type CMD and you can open a command prompt, and this command prompt will just give you access to your system. All right, and I'm not going to use command prompt. I'm going to use PowerShell. I just like it much better for Windows applications. So I am here on my PowerShell, and then you can see that if I Google a little bit how to access environment variables in PowerShell, you can see that it looks something like this. So if I go here and I type environment and I type a colon and then I type the name of the variable that I want to read, for example, temp, then what the system is going to do is going to give me a readout of the variable, of the value that is stored in this environment variable. So I can, for example, type, can you give me the value of ComSpec, whatever that is, I don't even know. Can you give me the number of processors that live in my computer? And I know this because it's just a variable here. And actually, I could create my own. So for example, I can type here, for example, password, and then this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I could read this password from anywhere on my system. So if I do this right now, I don't think it's going to work. Password, yes, it's not going to work because I need to restart my PowerShell so that it picks up the changes that I did. So I'm going to open my PowerShell again. And now I'm going to type the same thing, environment and password. And then as I do that, oh, it didn't pick it up. So, sorry, because I need to close this and apply the changes, etc., etc. Sorry, so I'm going to open this, all right, the shell, and I'm going to type environment, password, and now you can see that from the terminal, I can access the values of this new variable that I have created. Why is this interesting? Well, because now from any program, basically, I would be able to read those environment variables and write them in here. So for example, I don't know, I'm writing a mockup program, so maybe my mockup program has some kind of environment that I can use to access, for example. This is not, I don't know if this is going to work on JavaScript. JavaScript has a different way, Node has a different way of dealing with environment variables, but the point here being that now I can point in my code to a variable that is living on my system, and therefore the only thing that whenever I share this code or whenever I put it online on the service, whatever, nobody will have access to the actual information that is inside of the password. It will be up to me to make sure that in that environment, the machine or the cloud service, there is a variable called password that contains the exact information that I need. All right. This is considered really, really good practice for storing sensitive information that needs to be used by computer programs, but also that needs to be shared between different users or needs to be shared on online platforms. So, depending on which environment you are working on, you will need to do some research on how to handle the definition of environment variables in that environment. And therefore, and as a secondary thing, also you will need to do some research about how your system, how your code, so JavaScript, Node.js, Python, etc., what interfaces do they use to read environment variables from your system? Okay, again, remember this that I just wrote here is some pseudocode, is mockup. I don't really know how this would work, but depending on the system that you use and depending on the programming language that you use, the definition of the environment variable and reading that environment variable will be different. Okay, so that's something that you need to take a look at depending on your architecture. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, click subscribe, hit the like button, maybe you can subscribe to notifications. That helps us keep running. And this video is part of a larger series where I was talking about fun with WebSockets. So if you want to learn more, check on the playlist and check out how I'm going to, for example, configure on the next video environment variables for a cloud service called glitch.com. Thank you very much. Well, that was a lot of talking. Oof. All right. Was that clear? Environment variables. Oh, I should have used this diagram. I totally forgot to use it. Anyway, so going back to glitch, I hate change theme. There you go. Okay, now I like this much better. We have our Telegram bot here. And now how do I define a variable? I actually forget about this. So add a variable, Telegram token, and then the variable is going to be this. So let's see if this works. Here, and then I'm going to here just write Telegram token. Or maybe I need to do environment.telegram token. Let me read the documentation. Note, environment is a shell file, so can be scrubbed by ditch. And so your secrets and variables only your environment variable. Now, comments will be visible. Comments are visible in remixes. Okay. So how do I actually use it now? Yes. Yeah, but how do I write it? Process.environment, exactly. That's, yes. So here it's process.environment.telegram token. And if I do that, the log blah 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 something process is not defined and echo, are you there? Yes, it's working. Yoo-hoo, receive an echo request. Okay. Okay, so so now let's go back to all right, package.json environment. So let me remove this one. I'm just going to, yeah. Okay, so all right. Wonderful. In the previous video, I just explained what again, starting over. Wonderful. So in my previous video, I just explained what environment variables are and why they're very useful to hide important information, conceal secret information that shouldn't be public. So let me show you how to define those, for example, in glitch.com. The way that works is that very nicely, Glitch gives us access to a private environment, which is defined here in the .env property. What this means is that this is a place where you can define your own environment variables that are going to be unique just for these servers that we are customizing them from. So you can see that it gives us a sort of UI text. We can just look at a text representation of that, if you will, right? Or you can just use the interface, whatever you like better. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to add here a variable, and I'm going to call it the Telegram token, for example. It's typically a convention that you define that environment variables are defined in all caps, just because they're always the same, they're constant. So that's how they're typically defined. And now the value for that variable is going to be this string that we have here. So this whole thing that we have here. So let me see the plain text representation of that, for example. Yes, so this is working. And then now in my main code, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this stuff. I'm going to remove it here from the public code. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to point to where in my system this variable is living. In the case of Glitch, because it is a Node.js based environment, Node.js gives you access to environment variables by accessing the process object, which is an object that defines properties of the process that is running this server. Then we access the environment property, and then here we can type the name of this custom variable that we have created. In our case, Telegram token. And as we do that, I'm going to save this, which it gets saved automatically. It reloads, etc., etc. And then it looks like things are working. So let me dock this on the side and let me move my my Telegram window here. And then let's try if this works. Greet, let's greet Jose Luis. And then it looks like it's doing the thing. And let's echo whatever. And we get here, I received an echo request. This is great. So now, okay, so this is working. Still the same thing. However, we have improved our code a little bit by concealing private information behind an environment variable. So this is really good practice, especially for sensitive information, passwords, and that kind of stuff. So make sure that you never version or you never share code with a hard-coded password or a token inside of it. Okay, wonderful. I think the next thing we're going to do in this video series is that, well, now we have the test bot. We can talk to it, we can echo, we can read stuff. But what if we connect this bot to the services that we had before? Or the examples that we did before in this playlist, where we had the bouncing ball that was synchronized between users. And perhaps what we can do is we can write something where we say ball, and then we type the coordinates here, 0.75, 0.3, and then we have the ball move around to those coordinates. I think that could be a lot of fun. So shall we try that? Let's try that. Let's move on to the next video. All right. Oh, what are we doing? How are we going to do this? Is it too late for doing this? You guys tired? How are we going to do this? Should we just move this to this afternoon? All right, let's just get it done with, even if it takes like an extra 30 minutes or something. And then if not, you can just watch the videos when we publish them. So how are we going to do this? So let me first get familiar back with the code that we wrote last week, which I totally forgot about, which is going to be somewhere here. So on my dashboard, we wrote the sync chasing ball. Oh no, so this is the client. So we need this, we need the server, we need the dashboard. So we need the pcamp, Telegram, simple WebSocket server echo. So we're going to merge the socket server. So what we're basically going to do is here on the bot, we're going to add a socket server, a WebSocket server. And what we're going to do is whenever we receive here some kind of on-text ball, then we're going to send to all the sockets. We're going to send to all the sockets a message to change the ball. And we're going to have to change the client for that as well. No, we don't really. Do we need to change the client? I don't think we need to change the client. And so because if I log in and I go to my sketches, I go to sync chasing ball. Here we were reading from, okay. So we received, okay, and we were just connecting to the address, which was, what is the address? Simple WebSocket server echo glitch me. So now we would just need to connect to the pcam Telegram bot. And so we will need to change this, connect to the Telegram bot. And then here, basically, we do that. All right. So I think the way we're going to do this is I'm going to take basically both services. I'm going to merge them together. I'm going to take all this code and I'm going to copy paste it into the bot. And then I'm going to write a new behavior, which is whenever I type ball and then some numbers, I'm going to parse those numbers. And then I'm going to parse those numbers. And then I'm going to send a JSON object to all the clients with that. Okay. I think I got this. And let me open another editor so that we can make sure that things are coordinating. Yes. Okay. The web editor, the server. Okay, so I think I'm going to start here. I'm going to clear this. And then I'm going to just put some logs here. Okay. All right, let's do this. Great. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect the Telegram bot that we just wrote in the previous videos to the examples with the ball that could be chased and could be synchronized between different clients that we did in further previous videos behind earlier on this playlist. Okay, and as a quick refresher, what we did before was we were able to create a synchronization between different clients that had this tiny sketch. So the tiny sketch is basically a black screen where there is a circle that is moving, and then we can click the mouse and make the circle chase the position of the mouse. But this sketch is connected to a WebSocket server where the information of the relative position on the screen is shared to the WebSocket server and is shared between all the clients that are connected to that server. So if I have this other client, for example, that I can also connect to the screen, you can see how now if I click here, both circles are now synchronized because data is being bounced back and forth between them via the WebSocket server, and any of them can send instructions to where all the clients should go and should move their circles. So what I would like to do is I would like to write something where in my Telegram bot, I want to create a new command called ball2, for example, and then I want to type in the relative coordinates on the screen where those balls should move to. So basically, I would like to control numerically with my Telegram bot the location of these balls. So how are we going to do this? Well, given that we have written this Telegram bot that lives on the cloud now, and that we have programmed with a bunch of simple instructions like an echo and a greet, I'm going to create a new command that is going to be the ball command. I'm going to be able to parse numerically these coordinates, and I'm going to send those to all the clients that are connected to that WebSocket server. But before I do that, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to modify my Telegram bot to also in itself include a WebSocket server that can accept incoming connections and that can stream those locations to all the clients. So the diagram would be something like, we have Telegram, all right? So then we have a server that is connected to Telegram and is working as the backend. And then that server also has a WebSocket server that can be used by clients to connect to the service. How are we going to do this? Well, I'm going to copy and paste very cleanly parts of my program. So for example, here, I'm going to, or maybe I'm just going to write everything. I'm just going to copy paste everything. Yeah, maybe this is a bit cleaner. The WebSocket socket server part here. And I'm just going to copy paste everything here. Okay, so you can see that now I also have a WebSocket server in this port. I started it and it does the exact same thing. So it also serves any client that connects is also going to be sharing these coordinates, just like this one was doing. I believe here, if you see tools, you see that we have an error. And this error is that the module could not find a particular library. So it could not find the WebSocket library. Remember that when we created this project, we defined in package.json that one of the dependencies was going to be this WebSocket library, which right now on the other project, because we were only working with Telegram stuff, we did not define that as a dependency. So now what we need to do is we just need to add a comma here to the dependencies and just add a new dependency, which is going to be that this server depends both on the Node Telegram bot API and the WebSocket server, the WebSocket library. It needs both to work. And now that this is running, you see, this is working, and it also have a server, a WebSocket server listening on port 5000, just like we used to have this one. So now I think I can close this one. And for the sake of testing things out, let's see if this code, so this new server, works on its own, doing the same function that we had before without the Telegram connection. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to I'm going to comment out this line, and then I'm going to copy it with the address of the new server. So I'm going to copy here server address, and now instead of simple WebSocket server echo, it's going to be pcamp telegram bot. But the idea is the same. So I still will connect. A client has just connected to this new server. And you see, I'm clicking and I can see that I am receiving coordinates for where I want this circle to go to. Similarly, if I do the same on my other client, I'm going to stop it. And then I'm going to run it here. If I run this now and I run it, you can see that both are connected to my Telegram bot. Not because of the Telegram part yet, only because I'm running a WebSocket server there. But you can see how I'm mixing the two things on the same process. Okay? So now what I would need to do is I need to actually connect the functionality of the Telegram bot with the functionality of the WebSocket server, so that whoever types in bol2 and some coordinates sends those as coordinates to the other two clients. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to do it just like we did with the other, just like we did with when we created new commands. So what I'm going to do is here I'm going to say I'm going to create a new command, which is going to be text-based, and this one is going to be, I'm going to do the 2 slashes, which for the regular expression. This one is going to be bol and then a bunch of data after that. And then my callback function is going to take in the message and the match, all right? And I should have done this on my local machine because it has a much better development environment. So here I'm going to create a ball command, for example. And then what we're going to do here now is, first of all, let's to verify that this is working, let's just print a message to the console. So console log, and let's print the match. So the second part, and let's print console logged received ball request. Okay. So let's see if that works. I'm going to move my Telegram app here, and then I'm going to run the logs. This just got restarted, so it looks good. So I'm going to type in my ball. Sorry, I need to type ball and then 1 and 1, for example. As I do that, you can see that I got the 2 coordinates and that I received the ball request. So this is working at a basic level. So ball motion request. So now what I need to do is I need to take that information that is coming from the message, and what I need to do is I need to make sure that I can turn those 2 things into numbers and then send those numbers to all the clients that are connected. So how am I going to do this? Well, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a variable called coordinates, and that variable is going to take match, the second element of the match, which remember it was 1 white space and 1, and then I'm going to split that message with a white space, which will give me an array of the 2 coordinates that I'm going to have. So for example, now if I print console log and if I print coordinates, you will see, hopefully when the server restarts, the server just restarted, so ball 0.3, 0.5. So you're going to see that now I was able to split them into an array with each one of the 2 numbers separately without the white space. However, you can see that JavaScript is treating these 2 right now as strings, which is not good because I want them to be numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new variable called const, and I'm going to call this x position, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from coordinates from the first element of the array, and I'm going to try to parse it as a float. This is a JavaScript function that takes a string and tries to convert it into a number. And similarly, I'm going to say y position is going to be parse float coordinates number, the second element of the array. All right. So let's see if this works. Console.log, for example, x position. And as I do that, I'm going to wait for the server to restart and then I'm getting an error, which is, no, I'm not getting an error. So this is working, and I'm going to run my command, and yes, I get 0.4 as a number. Wonderful. So now we have the 2 coordinates as numbers. And then what I would like to do is I'm going to create an object. Remember that when we were working with coordinates, what we did was we created JSON objects with X and Y coordinates, and that's what we use to exchange information between the clients. So what I'm going to create is a new variable called coordinate object, which is going to be a JSON object. So I'm going to open curly brackets. X is going to be the X position. The Y value is going to be the Y position that I just computed, and that's it. And then once we have that, which I'm still going to console log just for the sake of really verifying that this is working well, I'm going to go here and then I'm going to type another one, ball 0.9, 0.7. And as I do that, I'm going to scroll down, and yes, you can see that I'm printing an object that has 2 properties, X and Y, and they're both numbers. This is very important. So we are almost ready. So we have the object that we want to send across. Remember, we have the object that we want to send across clients, and it looks very similar to what we were using before. In the sketches, it's an object, it's JSON objects, X and Y coordinates, the values. So now the only thing that I need to do is, whenever I receive this command from Telegram, what I want is to say, take all the clients that are connected to with this WebSocket server and send this object with the XY coordinates to all of them. The way I'm going to do that is just like I did before with my connections. I'm going to basically copy paste this here, and I'm going to copy paste it here, and I'm going to broadcast that to all the clients. So I'm going to say, for all the clients in WebSocket server, take each one of the clients and send this object here, the coordinate object. Although this is not going to work, so let me show you. I'm going to clear this. This just restarted, so I'm going to type here ball and then 1 and then 0, 2, and then received ball motion request, blah blah blah, and then you can see that this didn't really work. All right, and it didn't work because remember that we can't really send JSON objects. What we need to send is the string version of that JSON object. So what I'm going to do is JSON.stringify the object with these coordinates. All right, just like I believe I did. Well, I didn't do it in the server because I did it here on the clients already. So it was sent already as a string. So I needed to do that. So let me stop this. Let me clear. Let me connect again. A client just connected to the server, so that's great. I just connected to this server, Telegram bot chat, blah, blah, blah. And now let me see if this works. So I'm going to type here ball, go to 0.5, and oh no, I'm typing it in the wrong place. Let me type here ball, 0.5 and 0.5. And yes, it worked. Oh, who is doing this? I think someone is doing this. I have, I'm recording this tutorial live on my live stream, and I have people watching this as I'm recording it. So probably someone connected to the Telegram bot and sent some instruction. Is that correct? Who's the culprit here? All right, so let me send another one just to make sure that we're 0.1 and 0.1. And you can see I received the 0.1. I can send 0.2 and 0.8, and then it goes just all the way down. And I can do, for example, 0.3 and 0.7, and it moves very close. Okay. Oh wait. So it's actually on my back. Sorry, I never get this right. So ball 0.3, 0.1, and it just left my head. That was nice. Okay, and last but not least, just a reminder that this is happening to all the clients that are connected. So if I have another client here, for example, and I'm chatting with my bot right now, and for example, this one is ball 0.4, 0.5. This one, it probably needs to reconnect. Yep. So ball 0.1, 0.1, 2, and you see both of them go to the same location. Yoo-hoo! And boo! Yoo-hoo! How cool is this, right? How cool is this? All right. Okay, so I think with this, I'm happy where we are. Food for thought, things that we could also do here. So we could expand this and we can say, well, the bot may respond to ball requests, but maybe we can modify even more things in these clients. So maybe we can send the color that the background should be on. We might be able to change, for example, the shape of the circle. So we can create a command that is shape and then circle, square, rectangle, blah, 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 and even the coordinates or the size of that, we can create a new command called color and then the 3 RGBs, etc., etc. So that's one thing that we could consider. Another thing we may want to consider is the fact that this code is not very resilient, because if the user is not great at typing exactly what they need to type, so for example, let's say that we type ball and two other things. This is going to create an error because this is not going to be parsed correctly, and you can see that both clients now went to 0, 0. So, or for example, if I say ball 0.2 and then I do a lot of white spaces and 0.9, this is also not going to be picked up correctly by the so we would need to do a little bit of better job at making sure that how we parse the string that is coming in is more resilient to mistakes by the user. Okay. But I think with that, I think I'm happy. So thanks a lot for watching this series of videos. We started with WebSockets as an inspiration. Now we moved to Telegram bots, and who knows what's coming next in this playlist. In any case, if you liked what you saw, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, subscribing to the notifications so that you can be up to date whenever we publish new content. And thanks a lot, and see you on further videos. Bye-bye. Yoo-hoo! How cool was this? All right, so I think I'm going to record now an introductory video. Can I run this in full screen? Is that possible? Well, what I could do though is I could just copy paste this into a glitch project. Am I going to break something? Am I going to break stuff if I do this? Am I going to? So am I going to? Yes, no, it's not going to. And then the bot is going to be ball 0.2, 0.5. Yes. Ah, I can't clean the screen. How can I delete the bot? Is someone using my Telegram bot? Okay. So let me. Okay, I'm going to delete the chat. And then I'm going to restart this. Yes. And then maybe I want to connect. Okay. All right. Telegram web. Okay. I'm going to. I'm maybe going to talk this like this, and then just going to duck this out. Something like this. Yeah, so that it's out of my. Kieran, still being naughty here. Catch, sync, your project, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'm just going to record a quick introductory video to everything that we've done today. And then I'm going to do 5 minutes of social and Q&A, and we can call it a day. It's been 2.5 hours. I think you deserve a break. All right. All right. Let me show. Okay, let me show the Hi, my name is Jose Luis, and welcome to this new mini-series in Parametric Cam, where we're having some fun with WebSockets. And in the previous videos on this playlist, that you can see the link on the comments, on the description of this video, on the previous videos, I showed you how to create very small graphic sketches, such as these ones that I have here on my screen, where we could coordinate the motion and the location of a particular object between different clients connected to the same service. So I have this sketch here that has a tiny white circle. So if I click on the circle, you can see that these two sketches, the one on the bottom and the one here on my left, which are different web pages, are both synchronizing the relative location on this object on the screen. And no matter which one of them both I click, the location gets synchronized between all the different clients. This is because they're both connected as WebSocket clients to a WebSocket server that is exchanging the information between them. So in this new section of this larger tutorial that I'm recording, what I would like to show you is how to enhance this example and keep this spirit of coordination of motion between the sketches, but add a new service, which is going to be a Telegram bot. I'm going to teach you how to create a Telegram bot, which is basically an automatic service that runs on top of Telegram, which is a messaging application that is very popular these days. And this Telegram bot is going to be very useful for very simple things, such as, for example, I'm going to show you how to echo a message. So, for example, hello world, and then the bot is going to respond. Is the bot sleeping? What happened here? No! One of the parameters is missing or invalid. I blocked the user? I don't want to block the user. What have I done? No! Oh no! I don't want to block the user. I just wanted to delete it. Have I blocked the user? Oh my god. Settings. Blocked users. Yes, I blocked the user. Okay. Oh no. So, okay, so echo. All right, okay. So let me. Okay, so I'm going to start the video all over again. So let me go back. Okay, I'm going to delete the chat, but I don't want to block it. So, Privacy, block users, unblock. Okay. And now, if I want to talk to the parametric camp, how do I? Oh no, it's here already. So parametric camp. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me start over again. Sorry for that. Okay. Hi, my name is Jose Luis, and welcome to this mini series of tutorials where we're having some fun with WebSockets and coordinating data between different clients. And in my previous videos on this playlist, which you can check on the description of this video, what I taught you was how to create P5.js sketches that had some geometry. So for example, this tiny white circle. And I taught you how to coordinate the motion and the animation of this circle between different clients connected to a WebSocket server. So with this, I could click on the screen and then I could make the ball go to this, whatever I was clicking on the mouse, but the coordination of that movement was synchronized between a lot of different clients connected to the server. And no matter which one of them I clicked, I was able to move and coordinate this motion across all of them, which is a really fun thing to do. So in this video, in this new section of the playlist, what I would like to teach you is how to create a Telegram bot that can also connect to this workflow and control the motion of the circles. A Telegram bot is basically a small application that runs on Telegram, which is a very popular instant messaging application. And what I will teach you how to do is, for example, how to create a basic echo bot where I can tell it, echo hello world, and then the bot will respond with the same message to me. I can program custom commands, as for example, can you greet Jose Luis? And then it's going to send me a custom message, hey Jose Luis, how are you doing? But finally, I will be able to customize more commands, such as, for example, connecting the functionality of this test bot to the WebSocket services that I have implemented in my previous videos, such that I can, for example, create commands that move these balls that I'm showing you in the clients in real time as well. So I can type, for example, ball, and I can type the relative coordinates on the screen that I want to move the balls to, for example, the center. And if I click enter, you can see how Telegram talks to the WebSocket server and sends coordinates for all of those clients to move. So for example, ball, let's go to 0.2 and 0.3, or let's go to 0.9 and 0.34. or something like that. And then I can control with a chat interface the motion of these objects, which is, in general, it's a really nice thing because this is just an example of graphic motions, but I could control basically anything with this chatbot. I can control the lights in my apartment, I can control geometry in modeling software, I can control a lot of things with this system. So let's get hands-on. And let's start first by discussing what is a Telegram bot, what are the basics of how do we write one, and then by the end, once we have it under control and living on the cloud, we will connect it and integrate it with these WebSocket examples that we have seen previously on this playlist. It's going to be a lot of fun, so follow up with me. I think it's going to be great. Let's take a look at how we're going to do this. Woohoo! We're done. All right, that was a lot. All right, how is everyone doing? Did you like this? Did you like this one today? Oh, I'm kind of tired. That was a lot. How are you doing? All right, so I can do 5 minutes of Q&A and social. So if you have questions or you want to discuss any topics. Otherwise, we were scheduled for a live stream this afternoon, but I think all the content that I wanted to teach you I've already done it. I've already done it this morning. So I wonder if we should just cancel the live stream in the afternoon, or I have to do some development work. I have to take some Grasshopper plugins. I actually want to take a WebSocket plugin that is available open source and modify it so that we can connect it to Glitch, because it needs to have the user agent thing. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know if it's going to work. So it's probably going to be super bumpy. So would you like to jump on a live stream where I'm just developing code and you can see me run into problems and be like, oh, why is this not working? How are we doing this? Is that interesting for anyone? What do you think? I'll give you some time. Otherwise, I can just do it privately, and then next week I just show you the results of this working or not working. This was fun. All right, well, okay, sounds good. Okay, so then let's just do it. I'm just going to try to do that online this afternoon. It's going to be boring. It's probably not going to lead to recorded and edited tutorials like we typically do. But if you want to learn a little bit of how I debug and how I I hit myself in the head, then that's probably a good thing. A good thing. Okay, so I guess I'll see you then at 2 p.m. And thanks for being here. As usual, I appreciate coding in company. And see you in a bit. See you in the afternoon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.